Hi again, it's Carol from Crinkled Path, and today I'm working on a travel journal that I'm going to make out of this cover from a cheese journal. Did you know they made cheese journals? My daughter always jokes about, because she saw some map, a trip that you go on, and you go from cheese farm to cheese farm. Somewhere here on like the Sonoma coast or something. She has great hopes to someday use a cheese journal, I think. But anyway, this was just something I got at my thrift store, and I wanted the pages mostly, but then I like the cover, but I think because it's this white inside, I really, for a travel journal, you want something sturdy, you want something that can handle being lugged around, and just in case it gets dusty or dirty, especially if you're doing a road trip like we are about to do, where you're camping and you're out in nature, and I want to be able to take the journal and not worry about it if it gets a little water on it or some dirt or leaves or whatever. I'm probably going to end up covering most of the covers, what I was getting to. I've got a really wide spine cut for this, and I'm going to try something different, completely different than I've ever done before, in that I'm going to score it so that it bends and it's soft, but that has, so it's not quite this wide. But I want something that can expand, because when you travel, you end up with a lot of ephemera, and usually I stuff a bag with it. I come home and I put it into a journal when I get home. But since I've been journaling more, I thought I might try this trip to journal on the road and just keep the ephemera stuffed into this as we go. I wanted to show you what I'm putting in the journal to start and show you the products that I used. So first of all, you saw my cheese journal cover, and you may end up seeing some pages from this in a future journal. I didn't actually include any of those for this. These are some pages, artwork from a Redwall cookbook. I just love the images of these precious little meadow animals. And I think I'm going to use these to make an inside cover pocket. They're a little bit heavier pages. They're a little bit shiny, so I don't think they're going to get dirty easily. And so that's what I'm using on the inside cover. This is what I usually write in for my journaling when I'm traveling, and it's very brief. It's just the date and things we saw. This time I may keep this with me still in my camera bag just to jot little details quickly, but then my hope is to come back and put more into the journal. I also wanted to show you this. This was from our Tuesday morning before it closed, which means it's probably 2 years old. And it's the Stargazer pad by Dear Lizzie, and this is the cardstock that I used to give a little more heft. Well, that's all that's left, because I pulled the pages and put them into the signatures. This is just the spine of the cheese journal. I don't think I'm going to be using that. Anyway, that's what I used in the signatures, and then I used some random pages from books that I've gutted over the last few months, and I also broke into my Edith Holden books, and I took out pages from, this is her, now I'm gonna forget the name of it, but it's like her garden notes book. So it has the calendar pages and space to write for each day, and so I just use that for lots of journaling space. And I'm folding these pages so that I can fold them out, write on them, and tuck them back in. So this first signature that has all of those in it just also has some other vintage ledger paper and a little bit of the cardstock, and that's it, because I wanted the first signature, because it's got all these folded pages, it's already kind of double thick, and so I didn't put any more in there. Then we get into the other signatures, which are just nature pages, a little bit of the cardstock, more Edith Holden, some National Park Travel Guide pages. This is from a book called Doorposts. It's all scripture art. I have a few pages from that. I still have to trim these pages a bit to get them to fit inside. This camping page is from old Popular Mechanics. Another one of the scripture pages. I'm flipping quickly. This was from an old junior encyclopedia. Again, insect book or nature book. Wildflower book, where things bloom and when. Another one of the scripture pages. This one kind of reminds me of Northern Lights. We're not going that far. And then second to last signature, got some bats. I love bats. I think they're so ugly, they're cute. Owls, another page, another piece of cardstock. Just the word summer here. So I tried to pick pages that had things of interest to me, and then also some pages where there was one little thing on the page and then there's a whole bunch that I can cover up if I want to. Try and give myself plenty of spaces to glue things in. Last signature. Got a Dutch oven hanging in a tripod. Some acorns. Okay, that's a quick flip through of that. Oh, and I grabbed this off the Cliff Bar box. My husband just bought a new box for the trip. These are his energy snack when we're on the trail. So I gotta include that. I think I gotta move all this off and give myself plenty of room. So when I was doing my flight journal, I was trying to explain how I normally do a hidden spine, and I tried explaining it a couple times. I still don't feel like maybe it got through in the translation, but typically I would cut a piece of cardboard like this. I would put it in between. I would use my carpet tape to hold this together, cover the whole thing in fabric, and then I would put the piece of cardboard that I had sewn the signatures to down onto the fabric with lots of fabric tack. If you aren't doing a hidden spine, you put your carpet tape down, cover the whole thing with fabric, and then punch the holes and just run your stitches down the back of the spine. So today I'm not doing either of those. I'm doing something completely different. I am going to score this, put the tape on, cover it in fabric, then punch my holes, and instead of sewing the signatures into the hole that I punch, I am going to try to put eyelets in, and I'm going to run elastic thread and do this traveler's notebook style, mostly because I want to be able to tuck pamphlets and other things that I get into something, and if I end up with too many pages and want to pull some out, then I have that flexibility to do that versus when I sew it in and then it's all permanent. I'm hoping that by scoring it, I'm going to give the spine some movability, flexibility. So normally on my spines, I put my signatures a 1/4 inch apart when I'm anticipating just writing on the pages. But because I have a feeling this is going to be ephemera laden, I am going 3/8 of an inch. And this is pretty heavy cardstock, because I wanted something the same weight as the cover. It's hard to get your bone folder into the groove, but it's not impossible. I'm going to give these a little bit of a flex. Sorry if you cannot hear me very well today. It is barely after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is already 102 now outside. So we have our air running, which makes it harder to hear. Sorry for that. All right, so you can see how the spine is going to be curved, but I'm hoping then that it'll give it some flexibility. It won't be as fragile, and I'll be able to really stuff it. I'm going to put my carpet tape down first here. I'm going to put my front cover on. Then I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch gap for folding so that the cover will close easily. And I just wanted to show you that I tried to go right inside of that first crease so that I'm not having to punch through the carpet tape. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and just wrap this rather than cutting it. Again, I'm trying not to cover that first crease there. Again, this is the Duck brand carpet tape. It's inexpensive. I don't know, maybe like $3 or something for a big roll of it. I feel that's pretty inexpensive compared to some of the book tapes and such. It's very sticky. And I have not had a journal fall apart that I've used this with yet. My husband and I are hikers, bikers, kayakers. We love all that outdoor stuff. We love camping. We love our national parks. We like exploring new places, and we also have our favorites that we seem to return to again and again. And so we're really excited. My husband has not had vacation. I think he's taken 2 weeks since the pandemic started in March of 2020, and he's taken 2 weeks. Let's see, I think he took a week at Thanksgiving, and he took a week last summer. Otherwise, he's been working straight through because he's works for our state education agency, and there's been a lot of need, and so I'm very excited for him to finally get a break and get a breather and gear up for the next school year. I have summers off from my day job. And so I'm always working on my to-do list of things that I don't get to do when I'm working during the school year. That is good and solid. So now I picked this really light, it's almost like a denim material, some kind of cotton chambray. Is that how you say that? Found my Fabri-Tac. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little more of the carpet tape on the cover because I'm going to cover the whole outside with fabric and then just the inside of the spine with fabric. so sticky. Okay, I'm gonna reinforce a little bit with Fabri-Tac, a little extra layer of more permanent adhesive, and do this little section that I didn't tape. Try and keep it thin, which I do not like the tip on this new bottle that I got. It's just way bigger opening than my last bottle, and it just comes out too much. There's no way I'm gonna have the precision to do these, so I think I'm gonna just do a little bead of my glitter glue between the creases. And then I'm gonna have to work really quickly before this dries with the air conditioner going. So I'm going to go a little bit with a little bit of hangover. I don't have a hangover. I'm gonna let the fabric hang over. Rub it in. Before it dries, I can get the wrinkles out. This fabric has some aging to it already. It has some kind of rust spots in it too, but that's okay. I was looking for something that was gonna wear well and handle the rigors of travel. I'm gonna trim this down a little bit so that just a little edge is over, and I am going to put the fabric up the middle. So I'm going to take these off, and that way the fabric will reinforce the spine, giving it just one more layer of security. Again, I'm going to beef up the adherence factor with some Fabri-Tac. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and do Fabri-Tac in the center, because I'm just going to put eyelets at the top and the bottom, so I won't go all the way to the top or the bottom with the glue. I'm not concerned about the perfection of this, because remember I said I was going to put those little animal pockets here, so it'll cover that up. Normally I would rip the fabric, but this fabric is not tearing when I pull it, once I clip it, which is just another indicator that I've chosen the right thing for this to be durable. All right, now to glue in these corners. I'm going to just clip at an angle, leaving a little bit of space. Sorry, I've got these things up here encroaching. So same thing down here. Turn it so you can see. Across, leaving a little bit of space. Fabri-tac around the edge. I am working on punching the eyelets in, but I will glue just right up close to the edge. Now we get to try and do our holes. So I'm gonna do 1/4 of an inch, and I'm gonna go right on those creases. The eyelets I have are 1/8" eyelets, and so I'm going to use this punch, which should be the right size. Yep, see how the eyelet sits in the hole on the punch? That means that this will fit in the hole that I create with the punch. So I have a self-healing mat. I don't have a crocodile. That's the most popular way to do that. This, I think. So I'll probably turn the sound off because this gets loud. Punch is very sharp, and then when you hit it with the hammer, it punches a hole straight through. Just like that. And then the little punch has this open chamber where all those pieces that you're punching can come out. Then they have different size eyelet setters. So I have 3 sizes here, and so I think I need the smallest one. Again, I'll just check real quick here. I'm gonna try the smallest one. I thought I knew what color I want. Now I can't decide. I guess I'll do the green. All right, now we want to flip this. The eyelets go in the back. And then when you use this to pound it down, it folds it over the fabric. And if it's the right size. I think I'm probably not going to bore you with this and fast forwarding. I'll do it off camera, but I'm going to run one of these through each of the eyelets. Like this. I want to pull it just tight enough that there is some tension on it, but not enough that it's causing the book to fold. And then I'm just going to tie a double knot. And I'm going to repeat that for each of these. And I'm probably going to just go ahead and slide the knots down to the bottom. And I'll probably trim it more once I'm all done. Actually, that's the top, huh? Okay, I'm back and I've gotten a lot of the tedious tasks done, but I left one to show you. I tied all of these off and the little knots are down here at the end. Let me show you the back here. So there's a elastic thread for each of the signatures. And let me show you how these slide in. Though I'm sure most of you know, just go something like that. I got all my pages trimmed to the correct size for the elastics, and I looked at the pages to make sure that when I hold them up, they are not taller than the cover. And then I measured the front and back cover and I cut my picture down to fit. And I think because I want to keep working on the integrity of this being pretty much indestructible, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to glue this is a file folder backing, just to give the pictures a little extra heft. now we can glue them in to the front and the back cover. And remember, I'm making them into a pocket. So I'm just going to glue 3 sides. Check and double check so I don't put it on backwards. One and I'm over time with the video, so I'll see you in part 2.